So guys, Jason Pegg. Talk today a little bit about belts. I've got a lot of questions of Q&A lately, Facebook stuff, even on Twitter, which nobody really uses, about how to use belts. It's kind of surprising. I thought it was pretty basic, but apparently there's a lot of guys that don't know. So what we're going to cover today is basics of your belts, how to use them, what not to do, things of that nature. Before we get started, I figured we'd go over kinds of belts. There's four main kinds of belts that you'll see. First one is a little gem like this right here. It's about a 1/16 of an inch thick, I think. It's made about 1974. Probably find it in your YMCA, left by a guy there powerlifting in the 60s and died. It's a piece of shit. We're using their junk. Save your money, buy something else. Next one is a lever belt. You see it's got a handy little lever. This is Dave's. That's not Dave's, his waist isn't that small. Yeah, lever belts, you can see how it works. A little action there. They're nice. They're easy to get on and off. The issue with those is if you have to adjust them, you know, like bloat goes up and down, you know, going from raw lift training to briefs to a suit to a deadlift suit. You've got to adjust them a lot, and it's a pain in the ass. There's a couple screws to adjust it. The actual adjustment's easy, but moving it back and forth in training or out of need, it's just a pain in the ass. A lot of guys like them. Personally, I think there's better options, but you're not going to go wrong if you get one. Next one is your standard powerlifting belt. It's a double prong. You can see here, 2 prongs. It's the technical term double prong belt. I don't like them. The second prongs make a pain in the ass. The only guy I know that uses one is Chuck Vogelpohl, and honestly, Chuck can do whatever he wants. He's Chuck Vogelpohl. They're not bad. Once again, like I said, if you can get a single prong belt, do it. They're just easier to get on and off. You know, the second prong doesn't make the belt fit any better or any worse. It's just harder to get on and off. So that's up to you. Another one to avoid. Fourth and final type is your single prong belt. Once again, aptly named for the single prong. This is the kind of belt I use. This one actually, it's a Elite FTS belt. I don't know, I think they still sell these. I can't remember. But they're what you'll see a majority of guys using meets, you know, in the gym. Just, you know, guys who don't even compete. They just, you know, out to train heavy, stuff like that. A lot of guys use a single prong belt like that. Most of the time they'll come in different thicknesses. Standard is 10, and they go up to, I think, the maximum allowable in any federation. Even multiply ones is 13 millimeters, which is what mine is. This one is it's actually one I jacked off the rack, but it's a 10 millimeter. But you can see it's still pretty thick. It's a pretty stiff belt. That's pretty much your belt types. Pretty soon, here in a second, I'll go into how to wear them, differences, things of that nature. So just bear with me. Now we've talked about, you know, the types of belts, stuff we've got. We're going to get into how to use them a little bit, how some guys use them differently, things you may want to try and do with them. Start with the standard single prong. That's what I like. Most guys you'll find will throw it on and proceed to crank it down as tight as they can. Personally, I'm going to tell you that's not what I recommend. It's a fucking bitch to get off. I can't get it off. Jesus. Give me 1 second. That's one reason why. There we go. But honestly, part of it is it's when you wear it that tight, you can't really push your abs out into it. You know, one of the main reason that you're going to wear a belt when you train is to help solidify your midsection. It's not to protect your back. It's not to keep you from injuring yourself. It's a training aid, the same as wrist straps or knee wraps are. You know, a lot of people don't realize that, but I guarantee you, you take a guy, have him do a max squat or a max pull, put a belt on him the right way, he's going to pull or squat 25 to 50 pounds more just from putting a belt on. You know, anybody who tells you it's for safety probably still thinks bench shirts and squat suits are for joint safety too. They're lying to you, okay? or they're just misinformed. But anyway, moving on. A lot of times when you wear a belt, you want to keep it, and this comes from an article I read by Louis Simmons 1,000 years ago, but he always said the word a notch loose. I'd say that's a bit of a misnomer for that. A lot of it, like a notch, like that's still, you know, tight there, I can push out into it. Taking a notch out makes it too loose for me. A lot of times what you're going to have to do, you're going to have to mess with it, to be completely honest. You'll find a hole spacing on it that is where you can push out into it the hardest. You'll feel like, well, this is too tight, and you'll also feel that, well, it's too loose, I can push my abs out too far into it. And honestly, when you get into it and start messing with it, you'll notice, yeah, this is the spot. You know, this is where it needs to be lengthwise. A lot of times too, you'll see guys wear them at different heights. Seems that a lot of times the lighter lifters, leaner lifters, will wear them up higher on their midsections. I do this, like usually wear mine right in here, and you can see my navel underneath it. Probably don't want to see that, but whatever. But, you know, mine's fairly high. It's actually into the bottom of my ribs if I bend way over. That's why I have to, part of the reason I have to turn it around when I deadlift. But a lot of times you'll see like heavier lifters and guys that squat in canvas suits will push them way down under their stomachs. You know, big fat dudes like Andy Bolton is a real good example of this. But they wear them way down underneath their stomachs. A lot of times when you see guys doing this in canvas suits, it'll actually help them put the brakes on the way down. These guys are, some of them, Andy Bolton's ridiculously strong, and he has no problem turning the weight around. The problem with him is getting the weight to stop. So a lot of times what it'll do, and I obviously don't have a suit on to show you, but it'll take the suit and it'll bunch up in the hips. When they push that belt down, the belt will also get down to your hips, and it'll help stop you on the way down. If you don't, I don't think I've got one here. Just to give you an idea, try and squat sometime and stick a broomstick over the tops of your thighs. You will find that there's a point where it stops your descent. It's the same thing with ramming your belt down there and the guys pulling the fronts of the suits down. It's not to make it tighter through the chest or in the straps. It helps put the brakes on the bottom. Chuck Vogelpool does this. He wears his belt, I won't say extremely low, but almost like you'd wear a belt on your pants if you had a belt that was 4 inches tall anyway. A lot of it honestly is just, you're going to have to go by feel. You'll find a spot. That's too high, it's in my ribs, that's too low, I'm not getting it. It's kind of unfortunate, I'm sorry I can't get more into it than that. But as you guys get into them and use them, you'll find spots, especially when you become conscious of it, to where, yeah, this is a good spot, no, this is not a good spot, and then you'll just come to find it. You know, and you'll find that it's different too, obviously, with the gear. You know, you're not going to be able to where your belt is tight with double ply briefs, double ply suit, as you will, if you're squatting wrong. Or, you know, same way if you're in a, you know, off season just training versus getting ready for meet and bloated up, you know, like that. I've gone anywhere from, I'm sorry, I keep looking for my belt. Probably, honestly, 3 or 4 hole spaces difference, which is about 3 or 4 inches in the size that I wear from, you know, off season training, you know, where I do a lot of raw lifting, to fully bloated, gassed up meet training a couple weeks out. So you'll have to find it, mess with it. Best of luck with it. Hope you guys appreciate the video. I'm sorry for the obscenities and disappearing off camera, but it was tight and it hurt. Don't wear your belt like that. I just figured I'd put this out there too, since we are on the subject of belts. Brandon Lemons, I have your belt. It's an EFS. I'm not responsible for it, but I'm not going to take it because it's too little, and it's a double prong. Peace out.